Something, of course, that we are all looking forward to for Carnival 2024 is none other than the sound of Sweet Steel Pan. Panorama 2024 is on. Joining us in studio today is Marcus Ash, Education Officer from Pantrinbago, to share with us some updates and continue the conversation about what's taking place for Panorama this year. Good morning, Marcus, and welcome.
Good morning, good morning.
How are you?
Drained.
One can only imagine, because aside from, of course, being an education officer, you're also a partner yourself.
Yes, I'm also a music director of a steel band, actually, the Nutrient Silver Stars. So I'm sharing responsibilities. It's been an intense week. Coming out of the semi-finals for small bands last Saturday, having to operate Junior Panorama, which falls under my office in Pantrinbago, prepare for small band finals this weekend, and run my rehearsal in a short season where everything is, I
can imagine. I'm exhausted just listening to you.
I'm shocked I still have a voice.
You do have a voice, and we're going to preserve it as much as we can. So let's start with the small band semis. How did that go?
Oh, that was amazing. That was dynamic. I think the bands treated it as a final round. The competition was intense. While listening to these bands, I could have seen at least 25 bands making the final. Of course, we were only taking the top 14. However, there was a three-way tie for 13th place, which means that 15 are now going to be moving into that final category of the small band Panorama.
Okay, wonderful. And what about Junior Panorama? Because, I know the children have been so excited.
Yes.
How did that go?
Junior Panorama, as you know, this is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Education that runs Schools Panorama, the primary and secondary school category, and of course Pantrinbago that runs the under 21 category, the 21 and under category. I think this year has definitely been a notch higher than last year's. Standard was pretty high. We started in the eastern region, so we had 5 bands there, the Supernovas Youths, Alumni, Steel Orchestra, we had Kimberly's Royal School of Music, we had Cordette's Academy for the Arts, and of course Matthews Steel Pan Academy. On Tuesday, it went up a notch in the northern region. We had Valley Harps Youth, Phase 2 Juniors, Invaders Junior, Pandemonium Youth, Renegades, Desperados, and All-Stars Juniors. And then yesterday evening, we would have concluded the preliminary round. We had to go to Superior Deltones Youth. We came to Panasonic Connection. We went to Old Tech Steel Orchestra, Funclair Juniors, and of course, we closed it with the defending champs, Tropical Angel Harps Youth. It was 17 bands. It was 3 intense days, but the standard has definitely raised a lot. And Pantrinbago also took a different approach. We usually have schools participate where we have children who are differently able or special needs, as we call them. But this year we took a decision to incorporate the regular bands, incorporating persons with special needs. So we had bands incorporating players that would have Down syndrome, ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, or physical disabilities, because we see Steel Pan as that bridging gap for persons. No matter what, you can use Steel Pan as a beneficial force and as a healing mechanism. So a number of those junior bands incorporated players with that as part of their numbers to enter, and you actually saw them doing pretty well with it. So we try to make it inclusive for all in 2024 without any form of bias or prejudice.
Absolutely wonderful to hear this. Now, Junior Panorama is taking place this Sunday, correct?
Correct.
Now, one of the things that we didn't hear mentioned with Junior Panorama was Tobago participation. Is there any particular reason for that?
Okay, so the Tobago bands hasn't participated in Junior Panorama in Trinidad. Tobago usually do their own Junior Panorama. They have junior bands there.
Okay.
And some of their junior bands actually taking part in the small category of Panorama. We had bands with a lot of young persons from Tobago taking part in that.
Oh, wonderful. Now, of course, we do know they'll be involved in the other categories as well, more adult-centric. But before we get to that, we spoke about Junior Panorama being this weekend. What else can we look forward to this weekend?
Well, we have, before the Junior Panorama, we actually have the small band final happening tomorrow, this Friday. So we head to Skinner Park, San Fernando. And we head there. It starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Tickets are $200. And we're going to see top 15 bands in the category take center stage. As you know, President Ramsey Moore,
Yes.
She's always said there's no season for pans, so we would have spread out all our categories throughout the entire, we've definitely started since October.
Yes, you have.
And we had the single pan, we had the semi-finals of that in the East. The final of the small band is going to be in the South Central region. And of course, you know, the medium will be in Tobago, and the final for the large will stand alone as an event in the North. Because besides it having no season for steel pan, there is no one location for steel pan. This instrument belongs to Trinidad and Tobago, and everybody, no matter where you live, should be entitled to, you know, have an easy access to it. So we spread out the geographical location of where our final would be.
100%. Now, one of the things also that we've been able to see is that there are events that take place during the week as well. How challenging is it to navigate this? I mean, you mentioned that your schedule is packed.
It is.
So how challenging is it for those like yourself to be able to navigate these events during the week along with everything else?
President Ramsey Moore, within the last 3 years, she would have incorporated an events committee.
Okay.
That events committee is made up of a lot of young persons with the ideas and the skill set to really drive this organization in the more modern direction. I would make up part of that committee as education officer. The committee's job is the responsibility of that committee is to ensure that all these things flow effectively. So while I may have my capacity as a member of the executive of Pantrinbago, I have a double role now as part of this committee. And we would have to do our manpower plan and strategic planning on how we're going to execute this, who has what to enforce, and we get things done efficiently. So if we know, okay, today we have judging in the panyards, we would already, by the week before, we would have already set the schedule, have everything packaged for each day. So when you go to that office, the head office, it's literally, you already know the team that's going out. You just pick up everything and get out.
Yeah.
So that helps us start on time because everything is done previously. We have systems in place. I mean, Panorama is not something that started a year or 2 years ago. This is our 61st anniversary of it. And every year we improve and make adjustments. One, have things easier and avoid lawsuits and, you know, have things without hurdles.
Yes.
So we work on these things every year. We do our analysis and see where we went wrong, where we can improve. So it just gets easier and easier. Or let me not say easy, it's never easy. It just gets less headaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the work is always there.
I mean, it sounds like a well-oiled machine, to say the least. And I mean, kudos to you and your entire team for being able to pull it off every single year and just get better as every year goes on. Now, let's just focus on January for now, because of course, we know February has events, but are there any more events in January that we need to look out for?
Of course. So the small band we mentioned, $200 is the final. The Junior Panorama on Sunday, which is actually free. On Monday, there's no rest. On Monday, we begin the preliminary round for the medium category. So we head to Tobago, followed by the Northern region on Tuesday, Eastern region on Wednesday, and the South Central region on Thursday. We then open the score sheets on the Friday, and the Sunday the 20, let me see. The 20th, sorry.
No, it's
we would
okay.
have the
Let's see, Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st.
right. So Saturday the 20th, we head to Tobago to begin large bands.
Oh, wow.
One time, and then Sunday the 21st, we have Northern Region large bands. So that's the big pan crawl that everybody look forward to. Where Port of Spain, there can't be vehicles in Port of Spain. Monday we have the Eastern Region. Tuesday we have the South Central Region. That would be the 23rd.
Yes.
And at that point we open the score sheets, and then on the 28th of January is that grand Savannah party. Everybody look, there's nothing else in this country is happening on that day besides all roads head to the Savannah
All roads
party.
head to the Savannah, it's true.
The medium and final bands will come alive in the Savannah to see who make that final position for February the 4th and 10th respectively.
Wonderful. Really such great things to look forward to. Tell us, I mean, you've obviously been on the ground, you've been interacting. What do you think are some of the top choices of music right now?
We have a similar situation as last year, and a new development, which, well, not new. We have a 2017 situation and a 2022 situation combined. So if you look at history, in 2017, what you had would have been 5 bands performing the exact same song. Okay. So one of the top choices, is DNA, Michael Tasha. We have a number of other bands that are looking at Ola Tunji's Inventor. But then you have about 7 to 8 bands right now that are already throwing back. They are doing the retro pieces. And last year we would have seen where, for the first time in the history of Panorama, that a throwback would have won. So about 50% of the bands opted to do that. So it shows again the competition this year looks like it's shaping up to cater for all audiences. Those who like the retro pieces, those who like the current pieces. So it's according to what you like, you're going to come down there and enjoy yourself.
You definitely are going to enjoy yourself, that is for sure. Now, just to go back to the musical choices for a quick moment, does the same thing apply to Junior Pan as well?
Junior Panorama, they allow you to, there's no restriction on the year. Okay. So you can do a throwback, you can do a current. As a matter of fact, there's only one band did a current song in Junior Panorama this year, which would have been Funclair Juniors. Which would have done the DNA actually. Okay. They sung it really well yesterday. All the other bands would have done either soca from last year or year before, or even further back. They would have went.
Wonderful. Any particular trends that you've noticed?
Trends? Not. I mean, right now it's too early to call. But in terms of, I realized between last year and this year, a lot of bands are now being a little more open to going back with their music in the large category. In terms of the small category, we have this, which is happening tomorrow. And why I would advise everybody to come out to that, I think you don't know whose game it is.
Yeah, this is so true.
It's been very ticklish because you have the top 5 or top 6 bands that place in the top 6 at the semi-final level, all going into they are all playing early in the show.
Yeah.
But the defending champion came out a little later. Then the 7-time champion, BJ Marcel with Golden Symphony, placing a little lower. But you can't predict, you're unable to predict that outcome tomorrow based on how the scores are looking and the placements and the number pulling. So it's something that you just have to come there and sit and see, and it's one of the weirdest final I've ever the weirdest lineup I've ever seen for final.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. That's happening tomorrow, the small conventional band finals at Skinner Park. Marcus, thank you so much for being with us.
It's always a pleasure.
Hoping that we see you again soon.
Of course.
And all the best. Please get some rest as well.
I'm hoping.
Marcus Ash, Education Officer of Pantrinbago, just updating us as to what's going on for Panorama 2024. And if you want to be in the know, stay tuned. There's more coming up after this short break on Now.